This is Joshua Hart from JTH Boxing, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by the legend himself, Mr. Carl Frampton. Carl, first of all, thank you for joining me today, and how are we doing?
I'm okay. I'm in London for Joyce and Zhang, which is tomorrow night. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm not sure when you're going to put this out. So
It'll be it
um,
will it will literally be going out the day we're recording it. It will be out tonight.
okay. So tomorrow night, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, everything's good. Life's good. I had a new baby there about 10 weeks ago, 11 weeks ago, and life's good, man.
First of all, before we fully get into it, I just want to quickly get obviously I got your prediction off camera, but just to put it out there to the people as well. What is your prediction for Joyce versus Zhang tomorrow night?
I think it'll be a very good fight. I think Zhang is a very good fighter, and he's durable as well, like Joe Joyce is. But I think that I just think it's difficult for people to deal with Joyce's pressure, and I believe that Joyce will stop Zhang late, kind of around round 10, something like that. Um, but you never know. You never know what. I just as a like commentating and working and as a pundit, watching Joe Joyce is like I haven't seen him hurt yet, and I've seen some monstrous shots that would knock out most guys land right on the button, and they have no effect on him. And I think it'll probably be similar tonight. He'll take a lot of shots and a lot of stick, but he will he'll ride the storm, and he'll win the fight.
And do you think Joyce, once he wins this, do you reckon it has to be a world title shot next? Obviously, he's not a young fighter.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's probably looking at the Dubois situation, and there's talk of Dubois maybe getting Usyk because he's one of Usyk's mandatory, and Joyce maybe. Well, I imagine he's going to be a bit pissed off by that, but he's beaten Dubois, and Dubois after the defeat to Joyce still hasn't really beat anybody of note. Um, Whereas Joyce has got a few good wins under his belt. Um, and he seemed to be behind Dubois in the line to fight for a world title. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's the strange world of boxing and how it works. But I think yeah, in the next few fights he needs to have a world title fight. I think that Joe potentially could beat them all, and I mean Fury and I mean Usyk, a lot of them his engine and his durability. Um, are just they've got to be a nightmare. It's got to be a nightmare to fight him. What do you do? Like when you're landing the best shot you've ever thrown right in this guy's chin, and he just hits you with a jab straight after it. Like it's got to be so frustrating.
Well, personally for me, again, I agree with you with everything said there. I think Joyce beats Zhang tomorrow night, and then I believe it has to be a world title shot. Maybe by the end of this year or early next year. But
Yeah,
obviously,
I hope he deserves it more than anything. And I know he's not the youngest guy in the world, but he deserves a shot. So he should have it. But you know what the heavyweight division, I think you don't want to fight Joe Joyce, no matter what any of them say. None of them will want to fight Joe Joyce unless they're made to fight him. And even if he's your mandatory, you may try to swerve that fight as well, for something else. He would be a nightmare to fight.
and now I want to move. I also want to move on from this stuff, and I want to move on to talking about you. So first of all, I want to thank Jamie for arranging this for me today. And he actually mentioned to me about some spars between him and Nigel in the gym. So I want to ask you, who do you think won those spars, and how do you think they played out?
Jamie and Nigel, I heard that Nigel. I heard that Nigel used to be a bit of a like cannon fodder for Jamie. Like it was almost like if Jamie had a 10 round spar, you'd fire Nigel in for the last 2 rounds when Jamie's 8 rounds in and already tired, and you'd still have to hold him up at the end. I heard they're always a bit one sided. What I heard was Nigel's very very tough and he takes a good shot, so that tells you enough.
Okay, so I agree with you there as well. I think that does explain the whole story. But obviously moving back towards the serious side of it, what was it actually like working with Jamie and Nigel as coaches in your career?
That was great. Genuinely have a lot of time for both of them, and both of them are similar in the fact that they're selfless and they would do anything for anybody, and they like to try their best to make other people happy. And Um, it, the only regret I have is not teaming up with them a bit earlier than it did. Like I was just obviously with my former team and stuff. There was a lot of issues, and just nothing like that occurred when I was with Jamie and Nigel. They're similar people to myself and from a similar background, and I had a lot more of a connection with them, and they're just good people. Another regret I have is that I would have loved to have won a world title with them, because obviously I won a couple in my career, but I could have done that with them. You know what I mean? If I was with them before, I'd have done that. I'd have been able to do that with them. But at the end of my career, and it was probably when I joined them, it was soon after that, maybe a year or so after that, I started to go on the slide a little bit. I just I wish I'd have won a world title with the boys.
I actually got told a funny story when one of the first times you went to Jamie's gym involving Tommy Coyle and a fire extinguisher. Could
Yeah,
you tell us this story,
fuck's sake.
please?
Yeah, Tommy, literally the first day in the gym. I think it was the first day, one of the first days anyway. And BBC Northern Ireland to come over because I'd linked up with my new trainer and all this stuff. And um, I normally know the guys from BBC Northern Ireland, but I didn't know who this guy was. That sent him over, and I'd never met him before. Um, and Tommy Coyle fucking comes from behind me and destroys me, the camera guy, his face with his fire extinguisher. But it was like it wasn't like the what, it was like powder. It was coming out of everywhere, and I mean it covered the gym. Like he was cleaning it for weeks and weeks, and that was one of my first interactions with Tommy. And some people would take that the wrong way and maybe go, "This guy's a fucking nut. Like I don't want anything to do with this." But I found the funny side of it, and do you know what? I just felt at home with the boys. It was always good crack in the gym, but I mean we trained hard. Like you know the sessions were tough, and we trained hard as anybody, and the bar bag stuff and all that they do in Manchester, and the runs around up Mount Peatty and Tenerife and the training camps. Everything was tough, but it was unbelievable. Like I just enjoyed myself so much while I was there, which is important too. It's important to enjoy your job, and I never really did that before. I hated boxing. There's interviews you go back, you know, 10 years, and I talked about always wanting to retire, and I didn't like it, and it's hard, and I hate being away from my kids. And but when I was with Jamie and Nage and everybody else in the gym, it was just always a bit easier.
Well, so you were talking about training hard. When I was actually with Jamie the other week, I did a little bit of training with him. I think I probably did the easiest draw he gives to his fighters, and I was absolutely fucked by the end of it. So, I
Yeah.
can't imagine what he
Yeah.
puts you lot through when you're in training
I
camp.
think people have this perception because obviously we put all stuff out on social media that's funny. You know, if something happens funny, someone will stick it up online. That's what happens these days, and people have the impression that it's just a bit of a banter gym. You know, people don't graft, but we do graft and we train hard. And um, you know, you look at last year, Jamie and Nate probably, well, not probably, they should have had the two light welterweight undisputed champions, female and male, in their gym. But because of a bad decision, that never happened. So, um, yeah, they're quality coaches and they know the game inside out.
And I actually want to ask you this more of a question for myself here. Obviously, a lot of boxers grow up and say that they want to headline in the States and, go around the world. And you were able to do that. And not only did you go and headline in the States, but you also won. What was that whole experience like for yourself?
No, that was unbelievable, really. So I've done it a couple of times. The fight in the States, and that's kind of what you dream of as a kid when you're a young kid and you want to be a professional. Like the States is really where you want to make it, and um, yeah, just to fight out there. When I was a kid, we never have much holidays or anything, so I was never in the States when I was a kid. Um, so you're having this dream of getting out there and fighting. It's unbelievable, it really is, and to have your family around you and the support that I used to bring with me as well. And the noise that they made, they were special memories, and memories that I'll cherish them till the day I die. You know, really special time in my life.
And what was it obviously like winning as well? Or was it, did you win in the States or was it?
Yeah, I won. I beat Santa Cruz in New York. I lost to him in the MGM in Vegas. I beat a kid called uh Alejandro Gonzalez in Texas as well, and I beat another kid called Taylor McCreary in Vegas in the Cosmopolitan. It wasn't one of the big arenas, but I fought out there four times, and um, I lost once, but it was unbelievable. Even the defeat, like the defeat was in the MGM Grand. You know what I mean? And it was a packed house, and I brought like 5,000 people um over with me. It was yeah, it was unbelievable. Really was special, and just to share them moments with the fans, like it's really good. It's really good.
And I got told again, this is by Jamie. You had a fight cancelled in Philadelphia because of an incident that happened in the hotel. Um,
Yeah.
if you're all right with it, would you be able to tell us what exactly happened?
Yeah, so there's an ongoing court case about that at the minute, and I'm trying to recoup loss of earnings. That would have been my first fight with Top Rank, and um, after the Warrington defeat, and we'd done a training camp, and literally had finished the training camp. We'd stayed in Philadelphia. We were out there for about 3 weeks or maybe 2.5 weeks, and we just moved into the hotel and fight week. I've been sparring like guys like Stephen Fulton. I brought my whole team over. It cost a lot of money and expenses. Um, and we're sitting in the lobby. Like the training's done. It's time to start tapering. We're sitting in the lobby waiting to go and do like a mock session for showtime. Um, and I'm sitting waiting on Jamie, and he walks down the stairs and tries to come through this like little net curtain. Not a curtain. There's a curtain here. I'm going to show you a curtain. That's a curtain, right? This was a net. This was a net see-through thing,
Yeah.
and he's tried to brush through it or come through it, and he's banged into this massive, 7 foot pillar, and it's fell and smashed my hand, and I've had to get an operation there. I don't know if you can see. There's a scar
Yep.
there,
Yep.
and it cracked a bone in my hand. And actually, was sitting on my phone like this, so it hit me here, and my hand smashed the table. The table smashed to bits, and the fight was off. I had a broken hand, um, and I had a fight not a couple of fights before that where a guy had slipped in the shower. It was in Belfast, so the day of the weigh-in, he'd weighed in. I think what had happened is he'd maybe I'd seen him 6 weeks before, and he was fat as fuck. He was really big, and he made the weight. So I think he had to crash a lot of weight. I think he probably hadn't had a carbohydrate in that whole 6 week time period. And he's went and banged a load of sweets and or carbs into him, and he's collapsed in the shower, and he's fucking cut his chin and chipped his tooth and cut his nose. Um, so that one looks dubious. It's always about and this game in boxing when things like that happen, people don't believe it, but that's what happened. And then this happened, and I had to pull out because a pillar fell on my hand, and people automatically smell a rat. But that's what happened, and yeah, it was just a shame.
I mean,
And it was a shame it was Jamie as well. Jamie felt very bad about it.
he did mention
Um,
to me that. He did mention to me that he felt really
yeah,
bad about it.
he felt bad, but um, yeah, it was mad. It just felt like a whole waste. You know what I mean? It just everything was wasted on that. But I'm adamant it was the hotel's fault, not Jamie's. Why are these things sitting around lobbies behind see-through or behind net curtains that you can walk through and not secured to the ground? It is what it is.
Obviously, now that you're a retired boxer, I just want to ask you, what's life been like since you've retired and not having to go through those brutal training camps? Now you can just sit back and enjoy the
It,
sport.
it- it's good. I think it's. People ask me, do I miss boxing, and I don't. I No, I really don't. You got this stage where I'm trying to fight people at the end of my career. Jamel Herring was my last fight, and you're having it's taking you 5 minutes to put your socks on in the morning because your back's sore. it was just I could think of nothing worse right now than a training camp to try and get ready for a fight. Um, Nothing worse. So it's good. And I think one of the reasons why I don't miss it is because I've walked in this job with BT, and I'm commentating and doing the punditry work with BT. And I'm still around boxing. And that's what keeps me interested. But I don't miss it in the slightest. I've just had a new baby there. I've got another two kids and a wife who I spent so much time away from, and I just do normal things. Even things like I used to most of the times I miss the kids' sports day. So being able to go to a kids' sports day, it's nice. You know what I mean? It's nice. It doesn't sound like much, but it's nice to be able to do them things.
And one of the questions, well, you already touched on it slightly. I wanted to ask you, what's it like working with BT and being a pundit and be able to commentate and now be like in the sport, but in a different way?
Yeah, it's good. I think it's the easiest job in the world. You call it a job, but it's not. Maybe it's not even a job because I'm maybe 2 fights a month, 3 fights a month maximum if there's a busy period, and um, I can be at home the rest of the time. It's something to keep me interested, and literally think it's the easiest thing in the world to do because you say what you see, especially if I've done commentary a few times, and to be honest, I don't I don't enjoy commentary as much as the punditry. The punditry side is a lot easier. It's just you say what you see. You see a fight, and you describe what you think's happened. It's pretty simple, and yeah, it's really enjoyable. And a good bunch of lads I work with, Darren Fletcher, Richie Woodall, Big Bunsey, Dempo. They're good people. They're good people, and I'm really enjoying it.
And my final question is, who do you think would have won between a prime Prince Nazim and Barry McGuigan?
Oh, Prime Prince would have destroyed McGuigan, and I'm not just saying that. Prince would have destroyed me too. Um, and I'd have destroyed Barry. No, um, yeah, the Prince. I mean, I think Barry's style was he was very aggressive. He could punch hard at the body. He was very fit. But I think the Prince's style would have given him nightmares.
Carl, honestly, I can't thank you enough for coming on today. It's been an absolute honor to have you on, and thank you for
No
joining me.
problem, mate. Thanks for having me on.